G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff, Ukraine War update for the 30th of May 2026. Russia is claimed to have liberated 4 towns. I could say with some confidence that at least 2 are most likely true, and the other 2, even if they are true, may only be temporary unless the rest of the Russian army catches up to their position before the Ukrainians counterattack. And has been seen in the past. This war has seen changes, but most of the towns that Russia's captured in the last year have remained in Russian hands, despite the Zelensky cope. In every parliament speech, it's just a temporary setback. Now, there's been a lot of Russian drones striking Ukraine. They've announced actually attacks on Zaporozhye and damage to Zaporozhye. We'll get to that shortly. But as you can see, there's usually Dnipro, and Kiev and areas around Kiev. This seems to be now starting to become a regular. But this one's, it was flying west, so they haven't announced where it's hit. And probably unlikely to. Now, yesterday, Zelensky decided to honor a Nazi. No, I don't mean a someone you don't like type Nazi. I mean a admitted Nazi from World War II, a person who fought for the German army in World War II. Zelensky named a military unit after a Ukrainian who fought for the German Nazi Party in the Operation Barbarossa against the Russians. As a result of that, there was a massacre, right? The Ukrainian Nazis killed thousands, maybe millions. No one knows for sure, but the military unit Zelensky named is named after a group that led massacres of ethnic Poles during World War II. This is not an allegation. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not Russian disinformation. This is European news, actual documented history, actual war crimes that were prosecuted. Zelensky has broken the Warsaw. Of course, there's the pact. The Warsaw Pact was not just about the Soviet Union and communism. It was about defending each other mutually from future Nazi aggression. They were never certain that the West would denazify or that it was all smoke and mirrors. That the West merely intervened in World War II to prevent, the liberation of Europe. There are many reasons why Karl Nawalski has delayed by 24 hours the announcement, but it is going. I think they gave him time. Then they gave him an ultimatum. He gave his usual Zelensky go fuck yourself speech. So they started today to publicly humiliate Zelensky, but they have not stripped Ukraine of anything. They are merely going to take away honor that means nothing to Zelensky anyway. It's just now some, like the Prime Minister, have tried to cool tensions because we have one enemy. Tusk is, that Zelensky's decision does hurt our historical sensibilities, but he's claiming at the end of the day, doesn't matter, folks, because we're all on the same side. You know what? Go fuck yourself, Tusk. You're a sellout. Okay? So if you haven't figured out by now that Zelensky is a pretender and that more and more he is becoming his true self, and before anyone screams that he's Jewish, so was Hitler's grandmother. Didn't stop him, did it? Just like Zelensky's not a Jew, he's an atheist. His grandmother and grandparents were Jewish, and they took part in the revolution in Ukraine and killed probably a lot of people. And the revolution led to the deaths of millions. So yeah, what a great great hero of the revolution, hey? All. Now, this channel is sponsored by you, the viewing audience. So, Empire Valves, that's one word, empirevalves.myshopify.com. Your one-stop shop for epic. Now, I try to vary my speech every day, so you know it's not recorded or AI, right? Enchanting treasures based on my writing come to life. All right, so we have a lot of activity. Now, there's almost no change to the map other than up here, the town. Yeah. The reason why I say alleged today is that Russia's advance here yesterday was halted by the Ukrainians, and the Ukrainian counteroffensive. The Ukrainian counteroffensive today was successful in Nova. The story, even though it says it's a day old, appeared while I was loading the map. This wasn't here before. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's right on the edge, so it's possible. This one may be possible, but these two are the most likely. And yeah. But most of the front has not changed today, and most of the front. Now, this missile attack is not Putin's big revenge. Putin's big revenge, I'll tell you right now, is announce he's going to do a big revenge. Wait until Zelensky says, ha, there's no big revenge, and then he's going to drop 700 drones and missiles on Ukraine. It's happened before, it'll happen again. Now, recently, as in a year ago, Russia captured a Leopard 2. That was reported as a Leopard 2 A3. And it suffered a lot of catastrophic damage. It's in fact revealed to be a Leopard 2 A7 Plus. It has reappeared at German's main tank factory. Here's images of them in Ukraine. Here's an image of the captured tank on its way to the Russian factories. This is shortly after its capture. It was burnt out. It's taken to a tank depot. You see, it's had a blowout, internal explosion, internal pressure. Basically a lot of damage. Here is parked with other tanks at a Russian factory. There's a lot of damage to it. Look at its condition. The driver's hatch and observation camera, night observation camera. The gunnery position. Hold on. All right, the gunnery position and turret mountings. Right. Now, why are we going to the T90? Well, I'm not going to turn audio on. I'm just going to tell you what they won't tell you. When Russia examined in detail the Leopard 2, they found a flaw which killed the tank. A tank which I believe they were copying somewhat in the T14. Realizing that a catastrophic fire would occur in the T-14, they cancelled the project, took as much technology as they can, found what worked and didn't work in the Leopard 2, and translated it back to the T-90, decided to scrap the T-80 to increase T-90 production, and kept the T-72 as a backup, because they needed a troop killer and a light tank to deal with armoured vehicles and support armoured vehicles. So the Leopard 2 was pulled back out of storage from a display and yes, they realised that it was a forward command and control unit and many other things as well. They found out stuff that only having the tank would tell you. So, by putting top-of-the-line tank on the battlefield, having it captured by Russia, they changed the course of the war. The Russians would have gone ahead with the T-14, would have put more on the battlefield, and it would have been too late for them to discover that there was a catastrophic flaw and had lost lots of tanks, and would have scrapped a lot of other tanks in order to build them, leaving them in a very precarious position of having to scramble to scrap the T-14 and try and develop the T-20. Instead, they've scrapped the T-14, skipped the T-20, trying to develop the T-28, and scrap the T-80, scrapping the T-80 to spread amongst the materials to keep the T-19 program going, upgrade the T-72s as an interim tank, as a battlefield protector for armoured vehicles, take some of the T-14 technology into the BMP-3, although some reference keep calling it the T-15. Now, the T-15 will also be scrapped, and it'll be the T-28 and the T-36 going forward. They will jump a few iterations. They always do. Everyone. It's never linear. It's always something weird because it's an inside thing. You actually have to be there, it's not logical. That's the point. Because logic is easy to work out when you're asked a question. Whereas if you have to actually be deeply ingrained into that culture and understand, been around and know, oh yes, T90, T9, there's no T100 or T104 or, you have to actually go, oh no, T14's next, and then 2020, T20. You have to actually know, right? It's an army thing, a security thing. Now, there was an attack by Russia on the industrial site at Zaporozhye. They blew up an ammunition depot, and of course the Ukrainians will not show you. But it's helping the enemy! Well, I think the enemy knows what they attacked. Usual, the enemy knows what they attacked. They claimed 7, but wait a minute. 219 minus 284 is not 7. Idiots. The math don't math. It's typical, right? Just blows the mind how many people in the UK just can't do the most basic common thing and look at a story and go, something wrong here? Are they lying? Well, because they got so used to the left pointing out mistakes, they actually gave their brain to the media long ago instead of doing it themselves. Well, it's hard work, isn't it? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, all the typical cope. Which is avoiding accountability, which is why I'm doing the next video on accountability, by the way. So, Russian troops liberated 10 communities. That's the claim. Now, Russia's taken 10, lost 1, and probably going to lose at least 2 of the ones they've taken, because Russia has not been able to advance far and fast and hold position. If they can advance far and fast and hold position, that's catastrophic for Ukraine. We'll see what happens over the next 24, 48 hours, but my estimate is at least 2 of these towns will not be coloured in tomorrow, and they won't be talked about again. Now, yesterday there was an attack on Ukraine, and during that attack, a drone allegedly crossed the Romanian border, flew allegedly something like 35 kilometres, and allegedly struck a building. Now, a drone did strike a building, did explode, did burn down or burn out, I should say, an apartment building, and it was in Romania. The facts are not in dispute. What is in dispute is the source of the drone, the type of drone, because look at that. You can't tell the type that it's a shared drone just from that, and it doesn't look big enough to be a shared drone. And an anti-tank drone won't fly that far. And a Russian missile would leave a much bigger hole than that. Okay, so Russia responded initially, after 24 hours, to the Romanian attack, that the attack was a distraction from the incident. So they're downplaying, that's deflection, that's avoid, right? That Romania is deflecting on behalf of Ukraine from Ukraine's horrific killing of Russians and the Grant students in Starobusk. That's Maria Zaporozhye. Right, so Putin also raided. Now, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there have been many instances where the most high profile of which involved an S-300 from Ukraine killing 2 people in Poland, not far from the Ukrainian border. And that Kiev was instantly knew about the attack, instantly knew that it was a Russian drone, instantly knew where it was, and instantly called for articles of war. So Zelensky played his hand. The moment the attack occurred, Zelensky went on TV before the Romanian, an hour before. Look it up, right? Why is Zelensky on Ukrainian TV? Why can't you find his speech? You'd think it would be the front and centre all the time. Why is the original speech not up? Because of the timestamp. It was an hour before the Romanian attack. It was on European news. Oh, that's because he was tracking the drone. Then why didn't they shoot him down? Why didn't the British jets that shot... Remember, Britain made a big deal about shooting down a Russian drone last week. Why didn't they shoot this one down? They could have. It was one drone, not hundreds. Air defences could have many shots at a slow-moving drone. And if it was a Russian drone, why is there no tracking data, says Putin? Why is the tracking... what he should have said is, why does the tracking data start at the Ukrainian border? You're saying Romania can't track aircraft in Ukraine? Hear no evil, see no evil. But 24 hours has passed, which means all that data is compromised. Doesn't matter. It's cooked. You can't use it. You have to release the data immediately and not at all. Look at the George Floyd data, right? They took what? They had to release it twice and took a third lawsuit to get all the data released to find out that Floyd fentanylized. But the judge said, too late. Bang, bang, bang. Inadmissible. Yeah. Why? Because the data had been edited. They cooked the data purposely so that Shavon could not be exonerated. Because they cooked their own evidence. That's evidence tampering. Should have been brought against everybody, including the judge, in the Shavon case and thrown out. But no, we have to go with the meatheads. And this is what Putin is doing. He's calling you all meatheads. That's just so politically cooked. Your head is just meat. There's no brain. You're not objective. You'll all dismiss everything as Russian disinformation. You will not look at the data and go, if it only starts at the Romanian border, there can't be Russians. If the drone doesn't have, if Russian drones can strike in the Ukraine, they could reach Romania. But exactly what is the range? Most of these small drones, it's only a small drone, not a big drone. This was a big drone, you could, but no, they couldn't justify hitting a building with a big drone. So they just hit it with a small drone to start a fire. Heck, it didn't have to be armed. There was no real explosion. For all we know, the explosion was the gas fire. All they have to do is break the building, which suspiciously looks like it was blown out from the inside. But you could say, yeah, there was a hole. So, yeah, there's a hole, right? And then the blowback blows the rest, or the concrete crumbled. There is a margin of error that's very wide. But ultimately, this is one attack, and that's the other attack. Look at the difference. One Ukrainian drone, one Russian drone. You're going to say, oh, Russia's winning and they can only pinprick a building and set it on fire. Well, a Ukrainian drone can blow a whole building apart. Well, no, it wouldn't make sense. Because if Ukrainian drones were that... Russia's downplaying the number of Ukrainian drones. It was a Ukrainian missile, not a drone now. We know it's a drone. We know Russia said drone, and we know now that it was a missile. Probably a 35 or 50 kilogram explosive. Pretty big one. Whereas this is fucking hand grenade through the window. And it blows out a piece of the wall, for all we know. Well, a brick of C4 then. But some people tell me, nah, a brick would have done more damage than that. And yeah, I'd agree. This is, and then they'll go, oh no, they're not showing you the broken part below. That's just the crumbling of the brick. Again, why are they focused on that then as the point of entry and not the blown out window below? As my guess is, it blew from the inside. My guess. I don't have enough data to be certain. But this smells of the same 3 false flags that Ukraine has done before to start a wider war with Russia. Because they're getting desperate. This might actually be Poland trying to find a way out of the war. Hopefully. Yes, please. Please. Wake up and smell what's really going on. When 2 sides go to war and you don't like either side, you've got to be as objective as possible and say, let's bring this, wrap it up, folks. Put it in the bin of history. Draw the line on the map. Piss off both sides like you did in North Korea. And then piss off everyone again and spend the next 50 years not fighting again. And eventually allow, hopefully North Korea was headed to peace until China started interfering in North Korea again and niggling them, calling them cowards, that they should have protected communism instead of Kim Il-jong blew up a road. So what? There was, because he felt insulted by the Koreans, not he's doing that to show, right? If you're blowing up the roads into South Korea, it means you can't use them either. Okay? Think about it. He's doing it to piss off the Chinese, if you haven't figured it out. Most things North Korea has done is to piss off China, by the way. So Russia allegedly has seized 4 Ukrainian settlements, 2 of which I believe won't last long unless the Russians can advance their army. But they've put out their usual report for the week. They're going to ignore all the naysayers and just keep going for now. Now, are we seeing any North Korean equipment on the battlefield? That we have yet to see Su-35. There was Su-35 and Su-24 in action video, but it won't play. It's like this. It'll tell me not available in your region. So if anybody knows or seen it, it's called Su-35 and Su-34 in action. It's supposed to be a North Korean and a Russian Su-35. The Su-24 is what they designated is the little brother or whatever. What they've leased. But so you got 2, a Russian and a North Korean jet, allegedly in action over Ukraine. Unfortunately, I can't bring it to you. It's been marked as not available in my region. I think it'll be like everything else. It will be one of those pieces predominantly showing illustration. So, yeah, it will not show much. And if you do, it'll probably just be the usual Su-24 or 24 action where they rock up, launch some missiles, and rock away. You won't even see the explosions. Man, they take all the fun out of reporting war news, don't they? Well, we're not supposed to enjoy ourselves. That's the point. So we'll leave it on that note. That's the state of the war anyway. There's nothing really more to report other than speculation that Poland is only making token moves to embarrass Zelensky because too many people in Poland want war with Russia, but the rest of Europe is backing away slowly. As you saw, Ukraine was not given the green light. They were given a $90 billion loan with lots of conditions. They were not given the green light to dip their hand in the cookie jar month after month, stealing Russian assets. This is a one-off thing, allegedly. But Russia has... Oh, sorry, one more thing. Russia has announced a $200 billion judgment against Europe and Euroclear for stealing Russian assets, claiming frozen assets, gathering interest should remain because they will be unfrozen. It's like the unfreezing of the Iranian accounts. They'll eventually be unfrozen. But if you steal them, yeah, that's a different thing. But as for big retaliation, like I said earlier, I think I said it earlier, Putin will announce it, wait for Zelensky to say something, and then drop the hammer on Ukraine. Now, if you noticed, in some photos, Zelensky has a mole, some photos he doesn't. So there you go. Airbrushing, greyness, moles. You be the judge. How much is bullshit? How much is body doubles? How much is AI? Who knows? But I find it interesting that mole, one day, not the next. Grey hair, one day, not the next. Has a beard. Next day it's clean shaven. Next day it's stubble. Next day it's just back to beard. You know, it's like they can't decide which file photo to use. Now, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I think the mole is actually one of those, what do you call it? Might actually be a no, is it melanoma? No. What's the other one? The monkeypox. That's what I was trying to think of. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. Support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy merch. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.